Last week, we told you about the Hillary papers. Now, the same folks who turned up those are trying to get their hands on Bill's papers when he was governor, but they have hit a snag. Here to explain, Alana Goodman from the Washington Free Beacon. Good morning to you, Alana.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
This is really a fascinating story. So last week we heard these unflattering things about Hillary Clinton. These were contained in personal papers that were released privately by Diane Blair, who was somebody who knew her well before she died. You've also got the presidential library with papers. Now tell us about the papers that are stored in a public library that contain the documents from the Bill Clinton governor years down in Arkansas.
Yeah, so these were papers that Bill Clinton donated from his time as governor. He donated them in 2003 to the public library system in Arkansas, and they're housed at this place called the Butler Center. The issue is you can't really see them. I mean, they're technically open to public requests, but any requests have to be vetted by the Clinton Foundation. So you have to make the request to the foundation, tell them exactly what papers that you want to see. They send down lawyers to go to this library to go through the specific pages that you want, to vet them, and then decide whether or not they want to give you access to them.
Well, you know, when we heard about this story, we thought, well, what does Bill Clinton have to hide about his years as governor? But maybe it has very little to do with Bill Clinton, and maybe it has more to do with Hillary Rodham Clinton, who, you know, everybody assumes is going to run for president here in a year or two.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the archive told the Washington Free Beacon last month that they did not believe that there were papers related to Hillary Clinton in there. In 2007, that kind of conflicts with what the head of the library said in 2007, though, when he said that there were at least 34 files that he believed were related to Hillary Clinton. She was very active in her husband's administration when he was governor. She led two committees, one on health care reform and one on education reform. So it's certainly possible that there is information on her in there, and that it could, you know, shed new light on her past political career.
Okay, so as you depicted a moment ago, the process is you're trying to get a hold of some of these documents from the Clinton governor years. You go to this foundation, and who is the gatekeeper? Who's the person who gives you the thumbs up or thumbs down on whether or not you're going to be able to see the Bill Clinton papers and now, as we know, the Hillary Rodham Clinton papers?
Yeah, so this is Bruce Lindsay, and he's the head of the board at the Clinton Foundation, and so you need to make the request specifically to him. I spoke to, for my article about this, I talked to an historian at Mississippi State University who told me that he had put in a request. He waited about 4 or 5 years for specific papers, and he was never able to get them. And so he had to kind of give up on the project that he wanted to do and what he wanted to write about, and write about something different.
Sure. Well, you know what? It does seem kind of fishy, doesn't it, that they're not opening those papers up?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's in there, but it certainly seems unusual. There are 6 other governors who have their papers in the same library, and none of them are subject to the same restrictions as these Clinton papers. If you're a public person, you can just walk in there, and you can request some of these documents, but you don't have to go through that extra step that you do for the Clinton gubernatorial papers. You
know, and you touched on the important part. It's a public library, and they donated the papers, and yet you can't see them because they want to keep things confidential for a while. Who knows why? Alana Goodman from the Washington Free Beacon. Great story. Thank you very much for bringing it to us.
You bet.
All right. What do you think about that?